Hello everyone. In this video, we are starting with Android app development and its introduction. Well, what are the contents that I'm going to cover today? First, what is Android and its market? How it all started and by whom? What are the different Android versions? Android architecture, how it looks, Android development process, how the Android applications are developed. Well, first we start with an Android. What is this Android? Android is nothing but an operating system used for small devices or smartphones. This is seen primarily in cell phones, tablets, watches, and nowadays in TV and auto. This is completely based on the Linux kernel. Applications are mostly Java based. This is open source and given freely to both developers and cell phone manufacturers. That means anyone can develop Android applications and publish them for free. Well, what is this mobile market today? Mobile market has drastically increased in the past few years. There are around 5 billion mobile users and it continues to grow. There are different operating systems like Symbian, iOS, BlackBerry, WebOS and Bada. Well, more people use a mobile device than a toothbrush today. This is a small example to tell what is Android today. More than 63.75% mobiles are Android device based. Well, as compared to 20.22 of iOS and the rest. Mobile operating system with Android it started at 2008 from nowhere to reach to a maximum in 2015 as compared to other operating systems like iOS, Symbian series and Windows Phone. Well, how it all started? Andy Rubin, who started this Android ENC. Next, Google came into picture and started OHA, that is Open Handset Alliances, amalgamating all handset manufacturers, mobile operators, software companies, commercialization companies, semiconductor companies together to form OHA. Well, these are the some companies which contributed in their field, like for operators T-Mobile, Telecom Italia, Telefonia, NTT Docomo, KDDI, Sprint, China Mobile, handset manufacturers like HTC, LG, Motorola, Samsung. The Android was first installed in the HTC mobile phones and it became a huge success. Well, semiconductor companies, software companies and commercialization companies joined together. Well, next we'll see what is the version and the API level. Well, if you are a Android developer, you should know what exactly the version in which you want to run or compile the Android application. So this is kind of important if you are a developer. Well, quite interesting fact is that there is a code name given to all the versions. The first it started with the apple pie, banana bread, cupcake, donut, eclairs, frio, gingerbread, honeycomb, ice cream sandwich, jelly bean, Kit Kat, lollipop and marshmallow. These all are in the alphabetical order. Well, you can guess next is something from N. The latest we have today is the API level 23. These are the logos of famous Android versions. Latest we have Marshmallow, which is released in May 2015. Next we'll see a core part of an Android, that is the Android architecture. So before starting this architecture, why we are using this Linux? Well, because Linux kernel is the proven core platform. It is reliable, it provides security, hardware drivers, process management, memory management and power management. Well, this is the architecture. This is divided into 4 layers: application framework, library, Android runtime, Linux kernel. These are the main 4 layers as I told. Well, we'll start from the lowest layer, that is the Linux kernel. It has display drivers, camera drivers, flash memory drivers, keypad drivers, Wi-Fi drivers, audio drivers and power management. Well, this is the core part of an operating system which uses Linux 2.6 kernel, hardware abstraction layer between hardware and Android software stack, provides memory management, process management and power management. It provides security, different driver softwares to manage display, camera, Wi-Fi and etc. It also has an inter-process communication to communicate between apps. The next layer is the library. Android libraries are developed in C and C++. We cannot access these libraries directly. To access these libraries, we need application framework. Through application framework, only we want to use this Surface Manager, Media Framework, SQLite, OpenGL, FreeType, WebKit, SGL, SSL, and libc. A Surface Manager used for display management. OpenGL, this is stand for Open Graphics Library Extended System, and SGL for Graphics Library. This is to render 2D and 3D graphics. A media frameworks which allows to make audio and video of Android device proper. A free type for font rendering, SSL to have a secure internet connection, SQLite, a very important, a kind of a data store or database like MySQL server. A WebKit which is used for browser engine to display web pages, then some C libraries. This is the small layer, Android runtime. This has the core libraries. It is written in Java language. It contains all of the collection, classes, utilities, IO to develop Android application. The interesting fact is it has Dalvik virtual machine just like Java virtual machine, but this is register based virtual machine optimized for low memory requirements, limited battery and limited CPU because mobile devices are smaller. Designed to allow multiple virtual machine instances to run at once. Every program run in its own VM instance, operates on DEX files. Android bytecode are interpreted at runtime by Dalvik virtual machine. So these all make Android operating system efficient and convenient to user. This is the application framework. If you are a developer, you need to concentrate on this. This is written in Java language, and using application framework we develop our Android applications. So there are different managers just like activity manager, window manager, content providers, notification manager, view system. We are going to see all these in detail in the next video. Well, activity manager is nothing but whatever you see in an Android screen, that is called an activity. So how to launch this, what are the building blocks, what are the states and activity you want to see in this. Windows Manager, it is to use create views and layout in your Android applications. Content providers used to share data of one applications to another, example contacts, call log, details. Notification manager, so whenever you get emails, SMS, missed calls, we get a notification, that is alerts. A view system, it has many components like button, text box, checkbox, etc. So whatever we see is nothing but a view system. Resource manager, we use view images, audio video files, XML files, layout files, all these additional things we are using are handled by resource manager. A location manager, it helps users to trace through a geographical location. Package manager, it is used to retrieve the data about installed packages on device. Telephony manager, it is to handle setting of network connections and all information about service on devices. The topmost layer is the applications layer where the Android applications are running. By default, some applications are already available in your mobile phone, just like calculators, some browsers, contacts. That is what your application layer is. Next, we'll proceed to a development process of an Android application. This is going to tell you how Android application is developed, starting from writing a simple Java programs. So to develop this, Android apps are built using Java and Android SDK libraries. So you need to have an Android SDK and the Java libraries. The Java code is compiled into Dalvik bytecode, that is DEX. The Dalvik virtual machine runs on .dx file. So first you need to set up. So set up your environment, development environment, install the Android SDK, Android development tools and Android platforms. Set up the AVDs and devices for testing. AVDs for Android virtual devices. Just like you execute a C program or Java program in the console, you need to have these AVDs to test your Android programs or Android applications. Development, so create your own applications, create an Android project with your source code, resource files and Android manifest file. Debugging and testing, you have to build the process, then test your applications, then it's going to update. We all see this in practical in the next video, so no need to worry about this. Publishing, so prepare your application for release, then release your applications. So it has a different process. Again, we want to see in the preceding videos. This is the build process. I'll explain with the next slide. So first there will be a Java source code written. So where you want to write a application, a program using a Java program, along with the Java interfaces and some application resources. This application resource has the AAPT, which has r.java. Along with the Java compiler, it's going to build a .class file. This is a little complex as compared to other, whereas your C program just written a Java program, compile it using a C compiler, then you'll get a .class file. Then .class file you're going to execute into .exe file. But this is kind of different. Java source code, it has to go with the Java compiler. So Java compiler uses this AAPT, r.java and application resources and Java interfaces to form a .class file. So this .class file is being monitored by Dex tools, that is the third-party library forming a Dex file. This Dex file is being used by APK builder tool and some compiled resources to form a APK file. This is the APK file extension which is used for Android mobile phones. So if you want to install any Android application, you need to have a .apk file of that application, as simple as that. Okay, so we'll end this topic. So have a happy Android. Thank you.